Writing compelling eBay titles and descriptions is not only critical to the success of your eBay listing, but it also involves some practice and some study so that you get it right the first time and you attract the right buyers. It's not like writing a classified ad because the title uses keywords instead of phrases. Words like amazing or wow or incredible or gorgeous are rarely searched on eBay, and the system has a search engine to help buyers find the merchandise that best matches the keywords they'll be searching. I wanted to give you some examples of unnecessary keywords so you know what to look for and what not to put in your titles. Here's a search for the word look using the little @ symbols. You can see a lot of people use that in their titles. The word wow or the word amazing. You can also see that a lot of folks put the word incredible in their listings. And then over here, gorgeous. Now you want to use relevant keywords and you don't want to clutter up your titles with unnecessary words that take away from the valuable real estate that makes up your title. That's going to help you find buyers and help them find you as well. Titles are limited to 55 characters, and you'll want to include as many relevant keywords in the title pertaining just to your product, which includes things like the name of the item, the brand name, designer, color, title if it's a book, a record, a CD or video, author if it's a book, patterns or styles, and any other keywords relevant to the item such as new, or some more common terms such as NIB. Let me give you an example of that here. A lot of people use the acronym NIB or MIB, which stands for Mint in Box or New in Box. You can use these acronyms and they're common on the eBay community as well. But one thing you can't do is spam people with keywords. Keywords that are unrelated to your item or brand names of other products. This is considered keyword spamming and is prohibited on eBay. I've given you some examples here of keyword spamming. If you were to be selling a Gibson Custom ES335 guitar, you couldn't put the word not Stratocaster in the titles. You can't use those words. If you're selling a sterling necklace, you can't say not Tiffany because you're basically taking away from Tiffany's brand and you're using their name to sell a product that's not Tiffany brand name. If you were selling an Acme 17-inch widescreen laptop, you couldn't use the words Toshiba or Sony or Dell if that's not the brand that you're selling. So be careful. Make sure that you're only using keywords relevant to the item that you're selling. There are some exceptions to this. You can actually use brand names if you're selling compatible items. So for example, if I had an iPod or an iPad or iPhone universal compatible charger, I could definitely use those keywords, those brand names in my title. If I was a seller of Xerox replacement toner cartridges for work center machines, I could go ahead and use the Xerox name as long as it was clear that they were generic replacement toners. Or there are some unusual exceptions, such as using the word Tiffany-style lamp. That's just a very common and acceptable use on eBay as well. Mastering your titles involves reading over successful, completed listings and seeing the highest selling prices and reviewing keywords used by other sellers and capturing them for your own listing. It is okay to copy titles, but eBay does not permit you to copy someone else's description or photographs. A description is equally important because once you grab the buyer's attention with a fantastic title, you want to wow them with your knowledge of what you're selling, your straightforward style, and your positive attitude, all of which can be conveyed in a listing. Tell us about the item briefly. Avoid being long-winded, or you might lose your buyer's interest. Answer some questions. What's the material, or what's the condition? Tell us about who made the item and why it's important. Describe the condition in more detail and give dimensions or mention any notable features or markings. Talk about what accessories come with the item. And is everything that you're photographing also mentioned in the description? You want to ask yourself these questions. Is there any history or provenance about the item, such as if you're selling collectibles? Is there something interesting about the item that might be a story there? How may the item be used? Talk about your value proposition and if you're saving the buyer any money in any way. Some buyers who purchase collectibles like it when you tell them a story about the item, but for more straightforward merchandise such as new electronics, buyers just want to know the facts and they want to know what they're getting in the box, so just give them the details. I'm going to walk you through some examples of some titles and descriptions. This is a new Super Mario Bros. Nintendo DS game, and this seller used catalog information that's provided through eBay. So you can see the details here. They've provided condition, genre, UPC code, and so forth. Plus, this is detailed information provided through eBay's catalog system. So eBay has this already in the computer, and the seller selected that information for games. Some categories have that. But the seller also provided his or her own information here below. And I would recommend maybe not using such large fonts. That's a little bit much, but you can see the details. I'm selling a Nintendo DS Super Mario Bros. Game, never opened. That's pretty straightforward. You know what you're getting. It's brand new. It's pretty easy to understand. Let me show you another example of a description. This is a handcrafted description for a telescope. So we have this telescope here, and this seller is selling this telescope on eBay. I saw that it was used here in the condition. And there's some details about the telescope, its age, filters, programs, computer tracking system, attachments, and so forth. There's also some comments and some boasts here, like this telescope is capable of seeing the ice caps on Mars, get a beautiful view of Saturn's rings. So each seller has the option to describe their listing any way they feel is personal and how they feel they can convey the best and the worst about the item to their buyers. So that's important for you to do as well when you're listing your items too. A great comprehension of eBay's system and how to write fantastic titles and descriptions will translate into more dollars in your pocket. We realize that not everyone is a great author, and you don't have to be. Just be faithful and honest in your eBay auctions, and while being thorough and talk about what's important, people will appreciate that and you'll get great results from your buyers. Just put yourself in the buyer's shoes and consider what would be important to you when you're buying something in person or online, and include the things that you would be concerned about in a listing when you were purchasing an item from someone else.